Let me see if I have my guest here right now. Let me see if this may be him. CeldomSeen.
Yes, sir. How we doing, brother?
All right. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Dirty Basement. Definitely appreciate you taking a little bit of time coming through and hanging out with us. So definitely had to get you on. Yeah, definitely had to get you on here so we'd have an opportunity to speak with you and talk about some of the things that you have going on, because you've definitely been doing your thing for quite a minute out here in the industry and putting out songs. And matter of fact, you're on tour right now. Is that correct?
Well, we're on break now, and I'm just waiting for some of the other dates to come down the pipeline. But we were on tour, and we hit over around Denver, around a few places, Oklahoma City, up in that area. So, and it was just kind of really just to get our feet wet, because ain't nobody really been performing for a year, and so the opportunity was there, and we wanted to get out there and see how the people would respond and react and things of that nature. And to our surprise, it went pretty good. It went very well. So, but yeah, we're getting back out there. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't have the dates of the next go round, but as soon as I know, you'll know.
Okay, all right, no doubt. Now, where are you originally from?
Grand Rapids, Michigan, born and raised.
Oh, Michigan. Okay. So that's Midwest. So okay. So you're from the Midwest.
Yep.
So
about
let's take it all the way back.
Detroit.
Okay. All right. Let's take it all the way back and get a little bit of foundation about you. How did you start your journey in hip hop?
Wow. I mean, if we go back, like I was raised up with my mother and father. So coming up, I listened to, of course, between Motown, which is my father, and then my mom was into opera, so I got a chance to learn.
Okay.
I got a chance to learn classical music and things of that nature.
Nice.
But as I got older, the hip hop thing really started to kick in. I never really had a desire to do it at that time. I was just so amazed that hip hop coming through the door, and some of the things that they were accomplishing. It probably wasn't until I became maybe a teenager, and a couple buddies of mine would, just freestyle in the hall, and started getting pretty good at what we was doing, and then eventually worked our way into getting into studios and things of that nature. And then around about that time, that's when I really started to take it a little bit more serious. But it was a journey. It took some years to really start getting good at it and learning, how to mix, how to master, how to record properly, and things of that nature. But it all kind of started with that Motown sound, and then mixed in with a classical sound. And then eventually, once I started getting off into hip hop, if you hear my music, I have a lot of those sounds mixed in, like if I'm doing a production, because, that's what I was raised up on.
Okay. So what would you say was your breakthrough moment or your aha moment?
With hip hop? Oh, wow.
As far as your musical career, like, when did you realize that you could really do this?
That I could really do this? Let's see, that aha moment. It had to be my first album, Between the Shadows. I had put that out somewhere around 2005. And then I probably did about 5,000 copies of that. And I think then that's when I was kind of like, okay, I think I can make this work for a living. So
okay.
Yeah, so I have to say my first album. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, being that you've done this, but
I'm sorry.
I said a slow 5,000, but yeah. I eventually got there. So
No doubt. Well, I mean, slow bucks is better than no bucks, so you can't beat that,
There you go.
You can't beat that.
There you go.
And
right.
And to be able to do that, independently, out the trunk, as they say, is definitely an accomplishment. So definitely, hats off to that. So,
Exactly.
Being that you've been doing this for a minute, entirely independently, have you ever been approached for more of a major situation?
I have. It was by a couple labels, but I just never was happy with the paperwork and what they were, wanting from me. And I think I have a better understanding of it today. But, I was just, from the beginning, I was just very protective of those masters and very protective of the publishing. So now I understand you got to give to get. So, but long as it's fair. I've never received any contracts to where I felt like it was fair. So with that, my mindset was pushing more toward, we might have to do this thing independently because, I just can't give up my life like that. This might be the one. And all of a sudden you find out, they own 100% of your publishing and all of that stuff. And then that causes other problems on the other end. So, so just to avoid that, I definitely would, if the contract was right, if it was just fair, I can work with fair, but I can't do, getting done like a prostitute in a sense. So,
Gotcha. Well, now since you have, since we're, on this particular topic, since you had those kind of, opportunities, brought to you, but decided to remain independent nonetheless, right? Can you talk a little bit about the trials and tribulations of being a successful independent artist? You know what I mean? Like we were just talking about you have being on tour and you're waiting for some more, tour dates to come in. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're gonna have to, as an independent artist, that's something that you have to do entirely, or your group, your team has to do entirely on their own with no machine. So can you talk about that some and everything that goes into being a successful independent artist?
Yeah, from independent wise, you're gonna have to have some type of a team. It's just really hard to do it all by yourself. Extremely hard. You'd have to be a workaholic. But if you got a pretty good team, if you got certain cats who do certain things, in the beginning you kind of surround yourself with 6 to 10 rappers. But after a while, you start figuring, we really don't need these many rappers. We need some producers now. Now we need a manager. Now we need, somebody who can do booking and set up shows. So as you go along, you start bringing in different people that can help you get to where you're trying to get to, whether it's, hey, I'm trying to sign this deal with Warner Brother, or I'm just trying to get on a tour or whatever, to have those people in your corner or to have their number. And now you can at least talk and negotiate. Then you can be a little bit more successful at being independent. But it is a hard racket. It's I heard a lot of cats say that I just can't do it. Independent is just too hard. And it is. That would be the best thing I would tell anyone is surround yourself with good cats who, everybody know how to do different stuff. And then hopefully you can carry, you can cover all the bases that's needed in order to have a successful tour, or to have a successful record that's now hitting the airwaves, or whatever it might be. So, but trials and tribulations, they're gonna come anyway. The only thing with the independence is when you're on tour and you got the tour bus, it breaks down, you got to be the one to get that thing back rolling. You don't have no machine to call them and say, hey, we need some money. So that's the hard part with being independent, but it can be done. So, and I think we're one of the groups that's proven it can be done. So.
Absolutely. All right, Dirty Basement Radio in the building right now with CeldomSeen from FistCoalition. I chopped it up a bit, getting some a background and some insight into the trials and tribulations of a successful independent artist. All right, now we got some of your music right here. We want to get into one of these songs. Then I got my co-host in the building. We're going to come back and plug him in on the other side. We got a song here called Live and Die Midwest, which makes sense now since that's where you're from. All right, so why don't you talk about this song and, bring this song in before we play it.
That was a joint Big Shotty had did. We brought in 6 Man on that joint. That was around about when we did our first tour with him, which was over in Europe. And so it was just kind of the perfect timing. Of course, myself and Hunter.D is on there, and we just mixed it together because we all from Midwest, and it turned out to be some real good chili. So,
all right, Dirty Basement Radio. Let's get into it right now. This is FistCoalition featuring 6 Man, Live and Die Midwest.
Who we are, right? I say money ain't everything, power is much better. Control the mind state of a nigga to get cheddar.
Yeah, real heavy right there. That's FistCoalition alongside of 6 Man. All right, Live and Die Midwest. We got one of the artists in the building right now. We got CeldomSeen with us in the building right now. Big shout out to all my area codes that's in the building right now. Big shout out to my IG fam. Big shout out to, let me see. Got a couple of 917s in the building. 347, what's up? All right, 631, I see you. All right, it's all good. Definitely appreciate you, 954. I definitely appreciate you. All right.
All time. Man, I don't know. That one's always a hard one. I got 5 for you, but that one's always a hard one because I try to distinguish in the sense of, okay, when you say top 5, do you mean rapper or do you mean lyricist? Because the rapper don't necessarily have always the best lyrics, but they have that swag, they have the shine, they have the all that comes with an MC. To where some MCs, they're so lyrically out of this world. It's just like, it's crazy. But my top 5, I think if I'm looking at it as, okay, who had the most impact, who had great lyrics, great songs, and then really hit the masses hard, I would have to go with Nas. He was the first cat that I heard that made me put the pen down because his lyrics was just so, I thought, I didn't even know this cat was speaking in English. So definitely Nas. I would have to go with Tupac. He wasn't necessarily, he was more like a poet to me. He wasn't necessarily like what you call a lyricist, but he was always more like a poet. And to me, Tupac was like one of the first MCs that made you feel, you know what I'm saying? Like R&B cats could always make you feel that music because they singing. But Tupac was one of the ones that I could feel his music. I understood what he was saying when he talked about Brenda's baby and keep your head up and things of that nature. So definitely Tupac. I have to give it to Eminem. I think he's one of the rawest lyricists that came out. And I ain't just saying that because he's from Michigan, Detroit, but I think he actually earned that place. So I definitely would go with Eminem. I got 2 more. This one, it fluctuates sometimes, but I think I would go with Ice Cube because when he was in his prime, I think he wrote some of the rawest songs that then came out. And I always say that that chorus, that hook for Boys in the Hood is probably the dopest hook that's ever been written in hip hop. The Boys in the Hood are always hard. you come talking that trash and we'll pull your card. To me, that was just the ideal hook explaining what a boy in the hood was. So I get that to Ice Cube, and then wow, I'm gonna go old school with this last one. It changes sometimes, but I don't think Coogee Rap ever gets the respect that he deserves of being a lyricist. And I thought Coogee Rap was one of the dopest lyricists to ever get on the mic. So, you know, it's people gonna argue with it, but you know, I'll take that top 5 for right now. I think I would go with like a maybe like an Ice Cube. I really dug the way he would put stories together. I fell in love with stories through Ice-T, who you know, you put an Ice-T record on and it would have a beginning. 6 a.m, police at my door, fresh Adidas squeak across the bathroom floor. And then it would just continue to tell you this story until eventually it got to the end of the song. And so Ice Cube, to me, was a master at that. And especially in my earlier days, I think I catered more to that style of giving you a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end, whether it was about a female, whether it was about being in the streets or whatever. So I think, and then my mom had told me something before she passed away, and she was just kind of telling me about rap music, and she was the one that was in the opera. But she told me, she was like, us older folks, we would listen to rap more, but we have to understand it. If we don't understand what you're saying, we're not going to get off into it. And so with that, I think that started helping me to, you know, slow the flow down some, so I can make sure my audience is hearing exactly what it is I'm saying. You know, try to be different with it. Talk about things that maybe they don't know anything about. We can talk about the Midwest and what goes on in the Midwest, because it is different from New York. It is different from California or even Atlanta. So we got different stories we can tell. But if it was any one of those guys that I mentioned, I think I would have to go with an Ice Cube. Just the way he wrote, and you can understand what he was always saying at all times. He wasn't like real fast like a Busta Rhymes or a Twister or anything of that nature. So I think I would go with Ice Cube.
All right. We're deep in the conversation with the brother CeldomSeen from FistCoalition, having a real good time. All right, all my area codes that's in the building. If you want to join the conversation and say what's up to the brother, press that #1 button. Now, we got some more music we want to get to from you, but before I do that, I just want to ask you this quick question. What do you think about ghostwriting in hip-hop?
Well, when I first got off into hip-hop, that was a no-no. Rappers didn't do that. Rappers was their skill and everything that they did was based off of, I wrote this. This came out of me.
See, but you know what, brother?
You know.
But you know what? See, that is the funny thing about hip hop. All right, because in R&B, any other genre of music, it's okay just to be a singer. You can only be a singer. You ain't got to write a word. You could just, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be Luther. That's all it is. You just got to be Luther. If you're Luther, that's all you need. You ain't got to write shit.
That's all you need.
Right?
Right.
But when it comes to hip hop, it's just like you said. An MC is expected to have written what he's saying. You know what I mean? Right. And it's always been that. You know, that kind of like weirdness to it. So fast forward now. We know we got ghostwriters. We know we got ghostwriters in hip hop, and you know what I'm saying, sometimes it gets exposed and so and so and such and such. So, you know, have you ever written for someone else?
I've helped. Yeah, I've helped. I've never written a whole entire rhyme that someone else said, but I've sat in with cats, and when they would get stuck or something, I would fill in a line here or two, something like that. So in a sense, yeah, I have, but not like entire songs. I think we kind of, because you started seeing it a little bit back in the day. You would hear a little bit about that ghostwriting with like Dr. Dre. The first time I think I heard it was with Eazy-E. Later on, you started hearing it some with Kanye West. But all of these cats were producers, so we kind of accepted it. But now you actually got top of the line, biggest rappers out right now, and come and find out that they got 5 ghostwriters like a Drake, and so that hit the industry like, oh wow, this cat ain't writing his own stuff, because he's at the top, he's the guy, he's and we thinking all of this is coming out of him. But on the same note, go ahead.
I heard, being that you brought up Drake, I heard something about Drake the other day, and it really kind of amazed me in a way. Now he's been out for about 10 years now, right? He's been about for about 10 years, maybe a little bit more. He's had like over 200, I think maybe 250 songs on the charts. So he puts out an awful lot of music. I mean, you turn on, your urban station in whatever area that you in, and you're gonna hear a multitude of different Drake songs during the course of the day. I mean, with somebody with that kind of that's putting out that kind of an output, I don't think you should really expect that he's writing every word.
Yeah, and it's almost to the point where, the average cat who is doing all this writing, it's going to be hard for him to compete, because he has this machine. So when he's done with one song, that machine already got the next song ready to go. All they need is his voice on it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, but it's going to get more and more popular, because, these cats are going to try to keep up, and just one writer, unless you're not trying to keep up, you're just trying to do your own thing. But if you're trying to compete with the Drake and Amigos and things of that nature, you're going to have some type of machine behind you.
Yeah, no doubt.
That same rule kind of goes with the comedians, too. They kind of got that same thing, too. When comedians talk about it, they was talking about Kevin Hart and whether he write his own jokes or not, and then come find out he do have people who do write. But I mean, I think all comedians have that to a certain degree.
Yeah.
You get at the top of the if you get at the top of the industry, you got to move at a certain pace, and so probably a machinist, you're going to have one. So.
No doubt. All right, CeldomSeen is in the building with us. Catch up with him also. But in the meantime, let's jump into this next song coming from CeldomSeen and FistCoalition. This joint is called Filthy.
Yeah. Hunter.D. Let's get it. Through here that monster, niggas dead playing the possum. We attack like Godzilla and King Kong. Look how they react when they playing our song. One of the best to step foot in this motherfucker. Street.
Yeah, definitely another banger coming from the FistCoalition. That joint right there was called Filthy. Yeah, I'm definitely over here rocking to that joint right there. All right, Dirty Bass on the radio. We got the brother CeldomSeen in the building right now, chopping it up with him. So now, what could we expect, from a FistCoalition for the rest of 2021?
Getting back in the studio, creating, from the FistCoalition, just coming up with some new music, new sound. I'm in a joint with different producers, and we just kind of trying to come up with something that, that's just straight up Midwest. Like you said, we're kind of in the middle. We heard, we grew up listening to New York hip hop. We grew up listening to California hip hop, and then eventually the ATL, the South, caught their wind and started to fly. So now, we starting to feel like, okay, it's got to be Midwest time. So we just want to make sure that the music is tight and and when that light shines on us, man, we ready for it. So more music. Myself, like when I came home from the tour, they were shooting a movie here called Leo, which it stars I believe his name is Omar Jr., which is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother, and then the young man, his name slips my mind, but he played in Get Rich or Die Trying as the young 50 Cent, and of course he's all grown up now, but he's also in that movie, and I was able to nap a part in that movie as one of the big drug dealers in that movie. So y'all be on the lookout for that. So we just keep our hands on a lot of stuff between music, movies, podcasts, cats are shooting videos. So as a whole, FistCoalition, we're always grinding and working. Big Shotty's, producing for some other cats and stuff like that. Hunter.D shooting videos for other artists, and so we do a lot of different stuff. That was the great thing about FistCoalition. We all learned different things, and so we could always keep that thing, in-house. We didn't have to go outside and try to find somebody to shoot a video for us or find somebody to do this or do that. So so with that, we can kind of work like we want to work and do like we want to do. So
yeah, that's what it is.
More music, now, more tours, more movies. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, definitely congratulations on all of that. We'll be looking forward, to all of that content when it does, come out into the marketplace. But I do have one more song that I want to play. All right. While we, have you for this interview. Now, you've had the opportunity of, doing music with, some, well-known artists such as, Rod Digger and this gentleman that's on this next track that I'm getting ready to play, Bizarre from D12. Why don't you introduce this record?
Gotcha. Hold the crown. Joint that we shot over in Detroit. We went over there to where Bizarre was at and got in the studio with him and was able to just mess around and stuff like that. But that's another one of them joints, Big Shotty's production. Me and Hunter.D laced up the track and then sent it to got it to Bizarre, and of course Bizarre does what he does best. So hold the crown, baby. FistCoalition.
Smoking number OG, no Reggie Miller, man. You know how we do. Bizarre, one of the livest niggas. The shooter and the driver, nigga. You should retire, nigga. Don't let me get one off in this bitch.
Yeah, definitely another banger coming from the FistCoalition. That one featuring Bizarre, called Hold the Crown. Well, definitely been a fantastic interview, brother. We definitely appreciate, your time in that regard. Now, before we move into the next segment, please get everybody, your information so they can stay abreast of you and any of the future tour dates that you're going to have coming up and anything else that FistCoalition and yourself has going on.
Definitely. You can go to FistCoalition. We keep our information and stuff like that on any of the FistCoalition pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, pretty much all across the board. You can hit me personally, CeldomSeen, that's CeldomSeen, a.k.a. John Muhammad. Facebook, you can usually put just CeldomSeen in there and it'll pop up. But Facebook, Instagram, just pretty much all across the board, TikTok. We always putting content up and keeping dates and stuff so that everybody's aware of it, which move that we're making. So you can go to any one of those. We got Big Shotty, 6 Man. It's just Keys. We got a whole bunch of cats that's in the mix with us. But yeah, hit those and you'll hit one of those and you'll find everybody that we mess with.
All right, fantastic. Now